So we are good to start?
Yes, Guru.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, Prithu Maharaj meeting with the four Kumaras, verse number 29. निमित्ते सति सर्वत्र जलदाव अपि पुरुष आत्मनश्च परस्यापि भीडां पश्यति नान्यदा. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation: only because of different causes does a person see a difference between himself and others. Just as one sees the reflection of a body appearing differently manifested on water, on oil, or in a mirror. Purport: the spirit soul is one, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is manifested in Swamsa and Vibhinamsha expansions. The Jivas are Vibhinamsha expansions. The different incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are Swamsha expansions. Thus, there are different potencies of the Supreme Lord, and there are different expansions of the different potencies. In this way, for different reasons, there are different expansions of the same one principle, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This understanding is real knowledge. But when the living entity is covered by the upadhi or designated body, he sees differences, exactly as one sees differences in reflections of oneself on water, on oil, or in a mirror. When something is reflected on the water, it appears to be moving. When it is reflected on ice, it appears fixed. When it is reflected on oil, it appears hazy. The subject is one, but under different conditions, it appears differently. When the qualifying factor is taken away, the whole appears to be one. In other words, when one becomes to the Paramhams or perfectional stage of life by practicing Bhakti Yoga, he sees only Krishna everywhere. For him, there is no other objective. In conclusion, due to different causes, the living entity is visible in different forms as an animal, human being, demigod, tree, etc. Actually, every living entity is a marginal potency of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 5.18, therefore, it is explained that one who actually sees the spirit soul does not distinguish between a learned Brahmana and a dog, an elephant or a cow. Pandita Samadarshina. One is actually learned, sees only the living entity, not the outward covering. Differentiation is therefore the result of different karma or fruitive activities. And when we stop fruitive activities, turning them into acts of devotion, we can understand that we are not different from anyone else, regardless of the form. This is only possible in Krishna consciousness. In this movement, there are many different races of men from all parts of the world participating. But because they think of themselves as servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they do not differentiate between black and white, yellow and red. The Krishna consciousness movement is therefore the only means to make the living entities free of all designations. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, verse number 29, translation. Only because of different causes does a person see a difference between himself and others. Just as one sees a reflection of a body appearing differently manifested on water, on oil, or in a mirror. Hare Krishna. So we are reading the instructions of Sanat Kumar, 4 Kumaras to Prithu Maharaj. And in these few verses, Sanat Kumar is describing the difference between a liberated soul's outlook in life and a conditioned soul's outlook in life. The conditioned soul is into illusion. And believe me when I say that the illusion is much more deeper than we are thinking it is. We don't even know how deep the illusion is. Layers and layers of illusion. And the biggest illusion is that sometimes a devotee thinks, I am not in illusion. I am not in illusion. That's the biggest illusion. So Sanat Kumar is explaining that because of this illusion, a person sees other souls as different from each other and themselves. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he has multiple energies, spiritual energies and material energy. Spiritual energy is divided into internal energy and marginal energy. And material energy is also called external energy. So, to make it more clear, there are 3 categories: internal potency, external potency, and marginal potency. Internal potency is spiritual energy. Marginal is also spiritual. And external is material. The difference between internal potency and marginal potency is internal is spiritual and always remains spiritual. Marginal is spiritual, but sometimes comes under external potency. Just like the shore of the beach. The beach sometimes is underwater, sometimes is under dry situation. The ocean is wet, water, and the city is land, dry. But the beach is in between, marginal. Sometimes dry, sometimes wet. Depends on high tide, low tide on the shore. So in the same way, the soul can come under material energy and sometimes will be under spiritual energy, under the influence of material energy. Means under the influence of three modes of material nature, mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. So all internal potency, marginal potency, external potency, all are expansions of Krishna. Krishna is one and he expands into many, many. One becomes many, Bhunam, one becomes many. So when Krishna expands into Vishnu Tattvas, equal to him, they are called Swamsha expansions, personal expansions. Swa Amsha, Amsha means expansion or part. Swa means personal, Swamsha expansion. And Vibhinamsha means separated part and parcel, separated expansion, separated parts. So Swamsha and Vibhinamsha. Amsha means expansion, Amsha means part. So Swamsha means personal expansions. That's Vishnu Tattvas, Narayan, Vaman, Vara, Ramchandra, Balram, Mahavishnu, personal expansions. Then Vibhinamsha, Jivas, souls, the liberated souls and conditioned souls. Nitya Siddha and Nitya Baddha. Liberated are in the spiritual world, conditions are in material world. They are infinite, unlimited. Vibhinamsha, the souls are unlimited, but they all are same. There is no difference. Each individual soul is Satchidanand. No difference. But the conditioned soul makes differences between two souls, and that's illusion. Because of designation, makes differences. Because the soul is in different bodies, or different status, or different position, so makes differences. Just like we see two persons, one wearing red shirt, one wearing green shirt. We make difference. One is red, one is green. But that's the difference in shirt. The person is human both. Similarly, because one is dog and one is donkey, that shirt, dog shirt, donkey shirt. Body is also a shirt of the soul. But inside, the soul of dog and soul of donkey both are same. But we make differentiation. That's on material platform. On spiritual platform, no differentiation. Pandita Samadarshina. We differentiate based on body. Why? Because we are on bodily platform. Because I think I am body. So I differentiate. I think I am a boy. I am a girl. I am Indian. I am American. I am Australian. I am rich. I am poor. I am white. I am black. I am male. I am female. I am engineer. I am manager. I am technician. I am driver. I am husband. I am wife. I am father. I am mother. I am good. I am bad. I am honest. I am not honest. I am brahmachari. I am grahastha. I am sannyasi. or I'm Brahmana, or I'm a Kshatriya, or a Vaishya, or a Shudra, or a temple president, or head of department, or GBC, or preacher. All these are unwanted designations. Upadhi. I am this, I am this. The only understanding is I am servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das. Nitya Das. I am eternal servant of Krishna. I am part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the original supreme personality of Godhead. And I am his part and parcel. I am his servant. That's all. That is complete knowledge. But the conditional life is such that our intelligence is contaminated and we have designations for ourselves. And because we have designations for ourselves, we start making differences with other people, identifying other people. Just like a girl, she will see lipstick as a desirable object. And a boy will not see lipstick as a desirable object. Boy will see football as a desirable object. Girl may not see football as a desirable object. So I like football. Why? Because I think I am a boy. I like lipstick. Why? Because I think I am a girl. So because I think of myself in a particular designation, that extends further to my likes and dislikes. Because I think I'm a boy, so I have a list of likes and dislikes: football, bike, jeans, shoes. And because I think I'm a girl, so I have a like and dislike: lipstick, sari, makeup, jewelry. So this is all because of my designation. I see differences between football and lipstick, but both are matter. Both are just useless matter. So it is our conditioning, our influence of three modes on us that we see differences in this world which don't exist, which should not be seen. From the perspective of Uttam Adhikari, a Mahabhagavad, we see difference between paneer and stool. We will eat paneer. We will not eat stool. In our list, paneer is eatable and stool is to be thrown. But a pig, he sees stool as eatable and paneer is to be thrown. So who is right and who is wrong? Can you go and convince the pig that stool you throw and paneer you eat? No. Can the pig come and convince you that paneer you throw and stool you eat? No. So I think pig is wrong. Pig thinks me, I am wrong. Indra thinks we both are wrong. Indra thinks Somras is to be eaten. Other things have to be thrown. Brahma thinks Indra is wrong and Krishna knows Brahma is wrong. The whole party is wrong. The whole material world is wrong. All these are sense objects. Nothing to do with the soul. The soul doesn't know what is paneer, what is halwa, what is samosa, what is pizza, what is lipstick, what is football, what is TV, what is phone, what is car. The soul doesn't know all this. It's all material. Material sense objects for the senses. Mind and intelligence get involved. The soul is aloof. And Matarishi gives a nice example. Four Kumaras are giving the example. That suppose you see the moon reflected on water. You see the reflection is moving. So you say the moon is moving. You see the moon reflected on oil. You see hazy picture. You see moon reflected in mirror. You see very clear picture. Same moon. But different people are observing and saying, look, this moon is moving. This moon is hazy. This moon is clear. Moon is same. Even in the sky, sometimes we say Amavasya, sometimes we say Purnima. Moon is same. It's our drishti which is changing, our observation view which is changing. So because of this conditioning, because of this influences, we see differences. But a man who is advanced in spiritual knowledge, Shastra Chakshu, who sees through the eyes of knowledge, he sees everywhere soul. In the white shirt, in the black shirt, soul. In the male shirt, in the female shirt, soul. In the American shirt, in the Indian shirt, soul. In the fat shirt or thin shirt, soul. He sees everywhere soul. And he respects that. Pandita Samadarshina. He sees equal presence of soul and super soul in each heart, whether it's a dog or a dog eater or a brahmana or an elephant or a cow or a tree or a snake. We have example of Shivanand Sen. Shivanand Sen is a very dear associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And every year he would take a very big yatra from Mayapur, Navadvip to Jagannath Puri and stay there for 4 months during Rath Yatra and associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he'll take everybody free and he'll arrange for their accommodation, overnight stay and prasadam on the way. So like this, hundreds of people he would take walking yatra. So once when Shivanand Sen with his party was going to Jagannath Puri with hundreds of devotees, one street dog also started following this group. So at night when they halted, the dog also stopped there only. He didn't move forward. So everybody had prasad. So Shivanand Sen told his servants, look, that dog is walking with us whole day and he's halted here. So he's part of us. We should feed him prasad. So give him rice. So they fed rice. Even though the dog is not on the list, he didn't register for the yatra. But they fed him rice. Next day they started walking. The dog started walking with them. They halted for meals. Prasadam, the dog also stopped. He didn't move forward. So again they fed him rice. So every day the dog was walking with them and they were feeding him prasad. And they came to a river and they had to cross the river. So Shivanand Sen, he arranged boat for everybody, free. He would sponsor everything. Prasad, boat, stay, toll, tax. So he told the boatman, this dog is with us. The boatman said, no, dogs are not allowed on my boat. Shivanand said, look, please, please carry him. And finally he paid 4 times more money per passenger just to have the dog on the boat. He could have as well left the dog on this side of the river. He was not obliged. But he saw dog as a living entity, part of my group. So he carried the dog to the next in the boat across the river. So one day, Shivanand Sen got stuck at the toll booth. So he told his servants, you take the whole group forward, I will settle the money accounts. By the time Shivanand Sen, it was late night. Everybody was sleeping. So Shivanand Sen sat for dinner. And as he was about to eat, he remembered the dog. So he asked the servants, did you feed rice to the dog? And the servant said, we didn't see the dog. Shivanand said, got worried. He said, go and search for him. So 8 men went into 8 directions searching for the dog. And they came back. And they said, we didn't find the dog. Shivanand Sen said, I will not eat, I will fast. And he fasted, he didn't eat. He skipped his meals. He said, because I did some offense, that's why the dog left my party. I couldn't serve him properly. I couldn't take care of the dog properly, so he left my party. So we should know, any devotee comes to temple, we should take care of him. If he leaves, that means we didn't serve properly, we didn't take care properly. If somebody is upset with us, we have to take care of the devotee. If somebody is hurt, we have to take care of the devotee. So then next day morning they saw there is no dog and they continued moving to Jagannath Puri. In a day or two they reached Jagannath Puri. Then everybody got their accommodations, they took darshan of Jagannath, they took bath. And evening they came to take darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Shivanand Sen came and he paid obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who was sitting on a raised platform in a pandal. Many devotees were there. And they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was eating coconut pulp, coconut fruit, coconut pulp. And while eating, he was throwing to one dog. it was the same dog who reached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before Shivanand Sen and party. And in front of everybody, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from his own plate was eating also and throwing to the dog also. And the dog was sleeping and eating, catching. Everybody was seeing the fun. In front of everybody, Shivanand Sen came and offered obeisances to the dog, saying, "My dear dog, please forgive me. I didn't take care of you, so you left my party." Paid obeisances to the dog. So he saw the dog as a living entity, not just external body. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while feeding the dog and laughingly said, "Hey dog, chant Hare Krishna." And the dog raised his front feet, hands, and started chanting Hare Krishna and dancing. The dog was chanting Hare Krishna, the holy name of Krishna. And everybody was in ecstasy. And they had a big kirtan. And next day the dog left his body and went back home, back to Godhead. There Shivanand Sen, Pandita, Samadarshina, he saw everybody equal. We have another example of Vasudev leper. He was in the village of Kurma Brahman. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Kurma Brahman's house overnight. And he performed kirtan, and all the villagers came to see and associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then early morning, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, and Vasudev leper somehow came to know. So he wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was staying outside the village. So he came towards the house of Kurma Brahman. Now Vasudev, he had leprosy. All over his body there were wounds, fresh wounds, and all liquid will come out. Yellow, white, discharge, and blood will come out. And it will be very bad smell and so much itching. So bad smell that people, when they see Vasudev, they would go to another road, another street, because they couldn't tolerate the smell. So Vasudev would stay away from the village so that nobody is disturbed. Nobody will go near Vasudev. So hundreds of small, small wounds were there on his body. Pus would come out, yellow, white, liquid will come out, and blood will come out, and so much itching and so much pain he had. And all the wounds, there were insects biting and eating his flesh. So when Vasudev would walk, because of his body will shake, some insects will fall down. What will Vasudev do? He will pick up the insects and put it back on the wound, thinking that if this insect doesn't get my flesh to eat, it will die. What a compassion. This cannot be artificially imitated. But we have to understand that Vasudev would see that insects also as living entities, not as enemies. Shivanand will see that dog as living entities, not see the external dress. That's how Krishna sees us. He doesn't see us as male, female, Indian, American, boy, girl, devotee or non-devotee. He sees us as his part and parcels. And that's how a Pandita, a learned person, should see. And that's how Uttam Adhikari, he doesn't discriminate. He sees everybody equally. He doesn't see difference between friend and enemy. When Prahlad Maharaj, he went to school of Shukracharya, Sanda and Amarka. So after first semester, first term, he came back to the palace. And Hiranyakashipu was very happy. He took Prahlad Maharaj in his lap, who was offering him obeisances. And he asked him, "What did you learn?" And Prahlad Maharaj started glorifying the process of devotional service. And Hiranyakashipu got very upset. And he told Sanda and Amarka, "You go and teach him again and be careful. These Vaishnavas may be coming in the school and preaching to my son. So be careful, these Vaishnavas may coming in disguise." Sanda and Amarka took Prahlad and they started explaining him that, "Prahlad, we didn't teach you Vishnu Bhakti, but you are speaking about Vishnu Bhakti. Please tell me, have our enemies come and taught you all this? Are they coming in disguise and meeting you and preaching to you?" So Prahlad started laughing. He said, "I just heard, but now I can see how a conditioned soul is so bewildered in his intelligence that he sees somebody as enemy and somebody as friend. There is nothing called friend and enemy. It is illusion. Because I have desire for sense gratification, sense enjoyment, and somebody is favorable to my desire, his friend. Somebody is unfavorable to my desire, his enemy. I want to eat cake. Somebody comes and gives me cake, he is my friend. Somebody comes and takes my cake, he is my enemy. So because of these material desires, I create this concept of friend and enemy. And Prahlad Maharaj further says that any person who doesn't seize or is not connected with his super soul, he will always make this distinction between friend and enemy and always be in distress. So the only way to come out of this discrimination is to be connected to super soul, is to be self-realized that Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead sitting in my heart and your heart and everybody's heart. I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am his servant. So we should not distinguish. We should equally respect everybody. A tiger and a cow, both are same. Same soul and super soul sitting in the heart. But at the same time, we see them equally, but we don't behave equally because we can go and embrace a cow, but don't embrace a tiger thinking I am Pandit Samadarshina. We are not on that platform. Even if you think you are on that platform, don't embrace the tiger because tiger is not on that platform. Tiger will see you as food. And once I was in forest and I came across a tiger and I thought I should be Pandita Samadarshina and I should preach to the tiger. So I prayed to Krishna, my dear Krishna, please make this tiger a devotee. And a big miracle happened. The tiger paid obeisances, folded his hands, and he said, Mahaprasade Govinde. So he will see you as Mahaprasad. He will see you as a meal. So a devotee, he understands how to apply this philosophy. There's Madhyamadikari and there's Uttamadikari. A Uttamadikari does not discriminate. For him, Karela and Rasgulla is same. But a Madhyamadikari discriminates. Madhyamadikari sees there is a difference between the Lord and his devotees and the innocent people and the envious people. He offers respects to the Lord. He has friendship with devotees. And he preaches and guides the innocent people. And he neglects and keeps away from the envious people. And Uttamadikari, he sees everybody equal. That's a very high platform like Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was staying in a cave outside a village and he would chant 192 rounds every day. So people would come to associate with Haridas Thakur and chant with him and hear his chanting. So as this was going on, some people felt some burning sensation on their skin. So they started discussing among themselves, but they couldn't find out why. So one Ayurvedic doctor, one physician, he also visited Haridas Thakur. He also felt the same burning sensation. And he understood and he told the villagers, there is a big poisonous cobra staying in the same cave. And because of his breathing, all this poison is in the air. And that's why we are feeling burning sensation. It's not healthy. And it's completely unhealthy for Haridas Thakur to stay in this cave. We should request him to move out and make a nice kutia for him, give him accommodation in the village. So all the villagers went to Haridas Thakur and said, there's a big poisonous cobra staying inside. You please don't stay here. It's not good for you. We are feeling very burning sensation. Haridas Thakur said, I am not feeling any burning sensation because his body is transcendental. Haridas Thakur was beaten 22 times in marketplaces, but he didn't have pain. His body is spiritual. Haridas Thakur said, I am not feeling any burning sensation, but if you are feeling inconvenience and discomfort and you can't come to us, meet me, I will tomorrow shift to new accommodation, no problem. Immediately the cobra came out and everybody saw a big cobra with red and blue body and a big diamond on his head and so much poisonous fumes coming out of his nostrils and mouth. He came, he paid obeisances to Haridas Thakur and he left the cave. Because the Paramatma sitting in Cobra's heart told him, don't disturb Haridas Thakur like this, you leave this place, and he left. So Uttam Adhikari, he doesn't differentiate between Cobra and other visitors. He can stay with them. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the forest of Jharkhand, he associated with tigers and deers and snakes and made elephants and made all of them devotees, so much so that the tiger and the goats are kissing and embracing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So every single entity around us is part and parcel of Krishna. Nobody is friend and nobody is enemy. And we should extend our love and compassion to everybody without thinking uh, negatively, uh, which is based on our own conditioning, our own designations. If I am serving in somebody's house, I am in my master's house, and on the door, one guest comes who is my enemy number one, the village. How will I treat him as an enemy? No. He has not come to meet me, he has come to meet my master. So I have to treat him respectfully. I have to welcome him, offer him some water or snacks, and speak to him sweetly, politely, and arrange so that my master meets him. Because he is my master's friend. He is my master's guest. He is not my guest. In the same way, we are staying in ISKCON temple. We are servants of Lord Krishna. And every single visitor is a guest of our master Lord Krishna, and we are servant of Lord Krishna. How we should treat the guest? Very nicely. Even if that guest is enemy, or I don't like the guest, or he has misbehaved, or I have a bitter experience, but now he is not coming to my house, he is coming to Krishna's house, he is coming to my master's house, and I am servant of my master. If I treat him badly, then my master will say, you are not a good servant, you get out. So that doesn't mean I treat him nicely in the temple, and as soon as he's outside the temple, I go and beat him up. No, this whole world is Krishna's house. This whole earth planet is Krishna's house. And we are Krishna's servant. And there are other guests of Krishna, other part and parcels of Krishna. We can't treat them badly. We can't be envious of them. We can't be violent. We can't be angry on them. We can't abuse them. We can't exploit them. We can't disturb them. We can't manipulate them. Krishna will not like this. A devotee is one who does not exploit others and does not get exploited. A devotee does not abuse others and does not get abused. A devotee does not manipulate others and does not get manipulated. A devotee doesn't disturb or hurt others. He is not violent to others. Violence is a very big obstacle for our devotional service. That's why no meat eating, very important. We should be merciful to other living entities. Just because other living entities are under the influence of three modes of material nature, they are under higher influence of passion and ignorance, and they are having faulty behavior. That doesn't mean we consider them as third class or ignore them. Patita Pavan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan. So if somebody is Patita, somebody is fallen, then he has to be given the mercy. He has to be provided with prasadam. He has to be provided with an opportunity to chant Hare Krishna and hear Srimad Bhagavatam so that he reforms and becomes a better person and he becomes a nice servant of Krishna. Then Krishna will tell us, okay, good boy, you are a good servant. You brought one more servant and you reformed him. Srila Prabhupada went to America and he met hippies, and they were all third class from the viewpoint of how a cultured person stays. Bad habits, unclean habits, not taking bath, and sleeping on the street, drinking alcohol, taking drugs and cigarette, and having multiple partners for sexual activity, and meat eating, and all sides of things. So Prabhupada not only tolerated them, he extended his compassion. He cooked for them. He patiently helped them to reform them. He served them. He cooked for them. He served them prasadam. He washed their empty plates. He taught girls how to wear sari, and he taught them how to wash hands after smoking cigarettes. Many things he taught them out of his compassion. And because of that compassion, today we have ISKCON. And because of that compassion and ISKCON, today we are hearing this class and becoming devotees. So we have to extend the compassion to others, not become angry or reject because of faults. but we have to repair those faults. We have to correct devotees or practitioners in such a way that they become inspired to serve Krishna. They become enthusiastic to serve Krishna. Prabhupada said it takes gallons of blood to make one person a devotee. Now, if he has a faulty behavior and we tell him to get out, then all that blood is lost. So, a manager should understand, a leader should understand that we should not discriminate like this. We should help. Everybody is allowed in Krishna's temple. We should not discriminate between black and white, male and female. Of course, there is behavior, a behavior based on our conditional platform, and we have to grow. We have to grow further from Kanishta to Madhyama, from Madhyama to Uttama. And Uttama Adhikari does not discriminate. Till we are Madhyama Adhikari, we have to discriminate. So we have to follow proper Vaishnava behavior. Now, converse is not true. There are some people who understand that Uttam Adhikari does not discriminate. So let me stop discriminating. I'll become Uttam Adhikari. The converse is not true. Uttam Adhikari does not discriminate. That does not mean that if I artificially stop discriminating, I'll become Uttam Adhikari. You don't become Uttam Adhikari by not discriminating. When you're Uttam Adhikari, automatically you will not discriminate. So when I'm Madhyama, I do discriminate, but follow proper Vaishnava behavior so that everybody gets opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness. And from Madhyama to Uttama, there's only one way to go from Kanishta to Uttama, and there's only one way to go from Kanishta to Madhyama, and there's only one way to go from Madhyama to Uttama, that's chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without offenses under guidance of pure devotee. Only chanting is the way by which we can go from Kanishta to Madhyama, from Madhyama to Uttama. So we should be very, very serious and strict with our sadhana, chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, on our beats without offenses every day, minimum 16 rounds. And we should hear every day Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotees. We should read Srimad Bhagavatam, follow 4 regulative principles, do Mangalarti, Guru Puja, offer our obeisances, and eat only prasadam, honor only prasadam. In that way, our consciousness will be purified. So it is very imperative that we don't do any Jeev Himsa. Because of our conditional life, we differentiate and see somebody favorable and unfavorable and misbehave or have lack of respect. That's not good. We are servant of all the devotees. We are servant of Krishna and we are servant of all of his guests and part and parcel. So we have to give facilities to everybody to practice Krishna consciousness. We may not have very great consciousness, very broad consciousness, but at least we should not do Jeev Himsa. We should not misbehave with anybody out of bodily designations. That is Jiva Prad. That is offense to a Jiva. And that Krishna will not like because all Jivas are part and parcel of Krishna. So we should understand Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Everything is Vasudev. Everybody is Vasudev. Everywhere is Vasudev. Vasudev is all pervading. Vasudev is cause of all causes. Everything you see, you hear is Vasudev. Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Tam Atma Sudurlabha. But such a Mahatma is very durlabha, very rare. Who can see Vasudev everywhere. So when we see Vasudev everywhere, Vasudev is all pervading, Vasudev is all proprietor, and Vasudev is all cause of all causes. Surrender will be natural. Naturally, we will surrender to Krishna. So this whole process of Bhakti Yoga is to make us come to the platform that Vasudevam Sarvamiti, everything is Vasudev, everywhere is Vasudev. And that way, we go back home, back to Godhead. So it is our duty to understand that because of our illusion and conditioning, we make this discrimination. So being on our platform, we behave in such a way that we don't do any offenses and gradually grow so that we have friendliness, compassion for all living entities and no envy. Okay, we'll end here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? You may please ask.
Thank you, Prabhu, for a very nice class. Anybody like to say anything? Comments, questions? Is anybody there on the call? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Very nice Pravachan, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, nobody has any question. So,
Okay.
Prabhu, one question I can ask is sometimes we say the body of a devotee is spiritual because he is engaging his body in Krishna's service. But matter, it is also matter because in the sense that it is made up of bhumi, apo, nalo, vayu. So it is earth, water, fire, and ether. But we say sometimes the body is spiritual. And the example sometimes we give is iron rod in the fire becomes like fire, or a wire which carries electricity is electricity. So, so how do we understand that it is matter? Because